Hey guys, it's Fancy, and you're watching the Good Wives Network, and this is part 2 of me reading Dr. Feldman's Dying to be Ill section on Gypsy Rose. Oh boy, buckle up. There's a lot to talk about here. If you missed the first part, you definitely need to go watch it. All right, so continuing on, we're now at the paragraph that starts with, formerly a nurse's aide, Dee Dee was comfortable with medical terminology and knew how to get what she wanted from doctors. Whenever she was refused the treatments she wanted for Gypsy, she would take off to another medical facility. Nope. Her daughter fell between the cracks of a fragmented U.S. medical system. No, she did not. All told, Gypsy spent 2 decades in and out of the hospital. In this time, Dee Dee's presence on the internet grew and grew. No, it didn't. She had stories of her desperation as a loving mother and full-time caregiver running out of options. When Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans and the Blanchards lost their home, Habitat for Humanity raised funds to build a new house in Missouri. Missouri, specifically adapted to accommodate Gypsy and her disabilities, except that's not the timeline, dude. But whatever. Love and support poured in from Dee Dee's online followers who sent enough money to cover Gypsy's medical bills and all expenses paid trip to Disney World. When did that happen? And what medical bills would they be paying for, Dr. Feldman, considering that she had Medicaid? And hey, did you know that all the Medicaid files have 1991, her correct birth date, on it, and so do the pharmacy files? Funny, you didn't think about that, did you? No, because you didn't do any research. So, hey, there's that. Let's keep going. However, unbeknown to Dee Dee, Gypsy was also starting to use the internet. Unbeknown to Dee Dee. Yeah, I don't buy that. She had signed up for Christian Singles site, where she sparked a virtual relationship with Nicholas Godejohn that would last for 2 years. No, 3. Gypsy confided in Godejohn about the pain and humiliation she endured at the hands of her mother. Except how would she do that if she didn't know she was being abused until Mike Stanfield told her? No? Okay. Together they decided that while Dee Dee was alive, Gypsy would never be free, and a schmurder was planned. The day came. While Gypsy hid in the bathroom, Godejohn entered the house and jabbed Dee Dee to death. The two lovers then fled to Godejohn's home in Wisconsin in the hope of starting a new life together. There, Gypsy posted an obscene message using the Blanchard social media account, and it's the frickin' / that you know what, okay? When the police located Godejohn, they were shocked to find Gypsy freely walking around the room, seemingly in excellent health. This marked the beginning of an investigation that would reveal finally what had been really going on in the Blanchard household, except no, you get it wrong again. Gypsy was 23 years old when she was arrested. She believed she was only 19 because Dee Dee had lied about her age for as long as she could remember. Or was it at 12 years old or 15 years old when she was being told she was 12? Because, she knew she was 15 all the way up to 15, and then her mother started telling her she was 12. Also, there were numbered candles on several of her cakes, sir, so that's another lie. But let's keep going. With undeniable evidence. Really? Did you see any of it? Because I don't think you did. That Dee Dee was a perpetrator of Munchausen by proxy abuse. Gypsy was offered a plea bargain in which she acknowledged her role in the murder. No, she didn't. And was sentenced to 10 years in prison, and she would be eligible for parole in 8.5 years. Gypsy has been entirely healthy since being incarcerated. Well, her prison emails would tell us a different story, but hey, what do I know? With a full head of hair and no need for a feeding tube, except she still has swallowing problems and can't eat certain things. That's weird. She says she feels freer in prison than she ever did in the care of her mother, likening her early life to being a pawn in a chess game. Although Gypsy knew that she was able to walk and eat, she pretended that she could not. Apparently, she feared violent repercussions from her mother. No, she just didn't want Mommy to stop loving her. And her friends would be really mad at her. That's what she said. That's what she actually said. Oh, so here we keep going. This is more fabrication taken straight out of Mommy Mommy Dearest. She has spoken about being slapped and beaten with coat hangers when her mother was displeased, except she didn't know she was being abused. I digress. I suspected when I first heard the details of the case that Dee Dee's staggering control of her daughter, heavily psychological as it was, would have involved some aspect of physical punishment. So he's just assuming that there's a physical punishment. He has no proof of this. Just Gypsy saying some weird shit that she says all day long about things that she never makes any sense saying. But looking back at videos of Gypsy and Dee Dee together, it is clear to me that the threat of violence was constantly present in their relationship, even in public, where Dee Dee would hold her hand at all times, squeezing hard when Gypsy said something to which she took exception. Except, did you notice, Dr. Feldman, that it was Gypsy's hand on top and Gypsy's hand on bottom and her mother's hand in there, and that she was the one squeezing because she did it to her husband Ryan too? No? You didn't notice that? Okay. So after one botched escape attempt, Dee Dee allegedly handcuffed Gypsy to the bed for 2 weeks and smashed her computer with a hammer. I believe that Gypsy's fear of her mother was compounded by a profound loss of contact with reality, except that she went all over the place. So what are you talking about? Among Gypsy's various diagnoses was mental retardation, supposedly due to brain damage. On examination, she may well have developed cognitive impairment, at least confusions from, all the medications she was taking. Dee Dee managed to convince a lawyer, no, she did not, to sign papers declaring her daughter mentally incompetent so that she would not be taken seriously by the police or social services if she attempted another escape. Wrong again. Perhaps Gypsy started to wonder if she was mentally incompetent. No, she is, with her ability to discern truth from fiction so drastically stunted by Dee Dee's lies. Not by the fact that she has a 1Q21.1 that screws your fucking brain up. No, that couldn't be it. It's all Dee Dee's fault. So going on, children who are brainwashed by their abusers into acting sick are at a greater risk of developing factitious disorder in adulthood, or at least being convinced that they are invalids. I remember one healthy 26-year-old who was confined to a wheelchair because his mother had persuaded him that he had spina bifida, a congenital spinal defect, and he never thought to have this checked. See, he never had it checked. That's not how this went down. It is worth noting that Dee Dee's demise was immediately followed by a social media update. And this is where everybody's getting it wrong, okay? This is the sentences that they're using for this. And I'm going to have to come back in a third video and explain to you why this is not him changing his opinion on Gypsy at all, okay? So it says right here, it is worth noting that Dee Dee's demise was immediately followed by a social media update announcing falsely that Gypsy had been raped. Such grotesque and superfluous lies are typical of factitious victimization, a tragicomic variant of factitious disorder that we will see more of in Chapter 3. And I have Chapter 3 now, and I will be going through that as well. But I'm going to be coming back in Part 3 for my opinion about factitious victimization and why he is not changing his opinion on Gypsy at all. In fact, he's still blaming Dee Dee for all of this.